Thanks for staying with us at STL Live. I'm Sarah Thompson, and my guest is Paul Crane, Director of Living in Tents. And thank you again for being here. So while you're making the film, I mean, at any point, did you have this idea of like knowing what the end product was going to be? Or when you're sort of living in Tent City among the subjects that you're following, the people that you're following for this documentary, are you just kind of capturing it and just thinking, let's see where this all goes?
Yeah, kind of a mix. I think I definitely went into it a little bit with some hopeful ideas of where it could go, but this is my first documentary, so I also learned a lot, which obviously is don't try to play God or try to see what's going to happen, because this went on a lot longer than I expected it to, which is fine. But so I quickly realized that, you know, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. Yeah, and just to try to be a fly on the wall. Yeah.
And it's, I can imagine it's, I mean, this is a very sensitive, sort of very emotional, these are real people's lives, and people who don't have homes, people who are separated from their families. I mean, what was that like for you as a filmmaker, but also for them that you're capturing such the raw elements of their life on camera? Yeah,
definitely. When I look back, it kind of feels like it's kind of hard to remember being at doing it. I was naive, but in a good way, that it let me go and do that. Most people were, they like to have, it's nice to donate items and do everything, but I think just hanging out and talking, whether that's on camera or not, a lot of people were more than eager to share their lives with me. And have someone to, confide in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. Well, we've got some photos that I think are that we can take a look at. And
yeah.
You can kind of tell us what they are. And I think these are probably images. That's the poster.
Yeah, that's the graphic that was made. Matt Stewart did that, which I really think he did a good job on that. Yeah.
Okay. No. What's this?
This is in Hopeville. This was just a cross that was stuck there, and there was definitely while I was there. There'd be some, deaths, unfortunately, and so sometimes, that was honoring someone. I don't remember who that was honoring, but yeah, that was Hopeville. And this is from Hopeville, the side, so it goes Hopeville, and then there's another camp called Dignity Harbor, and then Sparta, which is farthest south. And so this is kind of looking that way. And that looks pretty early on, probably summer 2010, before I started filming.
And to give people an idea geographically, this is along the Mississippi River, north of what people know as Laclede's Landing, north of the landing, and further just north along the banks, correct?
Exactly, yeah, right next to the river wall, across from the bike trail, and close to the old football stadium. Yeah. And this is, a lot of these pictures were a little before I showed up. A friend, Mark Ozier, lives around the area, and so he took these pictures before I started filming. And this looks like it's getting into fall 2010, and so a lot of these pictures look a little cleaner than what you'll see in the film, because I started filming in January 2011, so kind of closer to, as the film progresses, you see, that's what made me want to stay there, is it was this kind of beautiful looking, the gardens and stuff, and, more people come, more attention, and stuff happens.
And I think we saw in your clip talking about the independence of when living in tents as extreme and bare as it may be, there was a level of independence and freedom in that. I think that it was one of the clips. Is that not what one of the people said? But then the transition into housing and sort of, there's kind of these just varying elements, right, of
Definitely.
what those two things bring. Is that sort of addressed in the documentary?
A little bit, yeah. It's addressed of why people prefer to stay in this situation compared to a shelter. And, the majority of the people in the documentary are, people who want to be outside compared to a shelter. And, yeah, you'll see in the film, there's some tents, but there's some really nice shacks. I stayed in a tent out there you have propane heat, and so with volunteers coming by, yeah, you can be pretty independent down there.
There's a lot to cover. I want to say with the benefit preview coming up, there's a charitable component to that. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. There's a charity, All Among Us, which was started by Catherine Shaw, who's actually a volunteer in the documentary.
Oh, great.
And in 2016, I think, she started All Among Us, which helps chronically homeless, single moms, and children in St. Louis. And so for the screening at the Tivoli, You know, we're not charging admission, but people can bring a suggested donation of socks, shoes, hand warmers, or something small like that, which All Among Us will be collecting.
Okay, all right, that's great, that's great. Well, we've got the information there for you on the screen. It is a benefit preview of Living Intense, the documentary that we've been talking about today. It's February 22nd at 7 p.m. at the Tivoli Theater in the Delmar Loop. For more information, go to tentcitydoc.com, and congratulations on completing
Thanks so much.
years, I mean, dedicating years of your life to this project, and I can't wait to see it myself and for people to see it, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
And there's more STL Live right after this. Please stay with us.